Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Market Today on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Patnagar. This is the show where we'll help you understand and navigate through the closing trades of the day. The Nifty, meanwhile, has now drifted to the lowest point of the day, 147 points lower in trade, 21,589 currently on the Nifty. It's the Nifty Bank that's creating some amount of pressure, 0.5% lower for the Nifty Bank right now. You're also looking at private banks, financial services, both extending some amount of pressure. Even the mid caps are now slightly lower in trade, just below the flat line at this point in time. So some amount of profits being taken off after the sharp rally that we saw in the recent days as well. What's still holding up on the Nifty? You have BPCL, that's the top gainer, almost 4% up in trade. Tata Motors 3.5% higher, record high levels for this one. Eicher Motors also up by 3.3%. Hindustan Unilever, Adani Enterprises as the top movers on the Nifty index. Shell, looks like we are headed for like a volatile trading session. Right ahead of the budget, there are nerves that are creeping up.
Absolutely, and a very warm good afternoon to you, Sakshi, to all our viewers. We've seen a fairly tepid trade today, and this is more or less expected on the lines that you had a 350-point rally yesterday, and today about 141 points have been taken back by the market. That's all fine, nothing to be worried about. I think the most pain point that you see on the Nifty is mainly because of Bajaj Finance. That's pulled down the index by about 23 points, the counter down 5% by earnings that were not appreciated by the market, as also profit booking on Reliance Industries, Sakshi, down about 1.8%, although nothing to be worried about RIL as well, because yesterday it surged about 7% to a record high, so a bit of profit booking happening. Again, earnings nerves for ITC down about 2.32%. Despite a very, very strong dividend payout, that is also sort of putting the index on the back foot. But for every pain, there is an equal gain, Sakshi. I would look at Tata Motors with a lot of enthusiasm, 3% higher. It's the top performing stock as far as the Nifty is concerned. And let's look at the volumes now, because we are in the last 1 hour of trade. That actually matters in terms of how gainers and losers are sort of acting up as far as this particular segment is concerned. Of course, Bajaj Finance, like I mentioned, was the pain point. Very, very strong selling volumes that are coming in. We have Soni Patnaik with us. She's the AVP as far as technical and derivatives research is concerned. Hi, Soni. A very, very warm welcome to you. How do you see Bajaj Finance's chart? Let's take a view on this one and then we'll discuss your individual picks. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Shail and Sakshi. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and good afternoon to all our viewers. So I think Bajaj Finance started with short rollovers from the January to February series. So it was either way indicating that could be some weakness. Although it was a sell from a particular point, the moment it broke 7,300, the target was 6,800. It has nearly achieved that zone as of now. But even as of now, the stock is looking quite weak technically, and it's continuing in the short side of it. So I think it's an avoid to enter at any current levels for any fresh positions. I think it may test 6,700 also. Only on a closing basis, if it is able to take out 7,000 level first and then 7,300 above that, then we can see some reversal in trend. But as of now, the stock is looking quite weak, and one must avoid it. May see even lower levels of 6,700, 6,600 in the near term.
Okay, so that's as far as Bajaj Finance and the view on that one is concerned. Could you also share your view on Bajaj Finserv along the lines, because just now we've seen the Q3 results come out for the other major, and consolidated PAT here have risen about 21% year on year to 2158 crore rupees. The income has grown by 34% odd. However, Bajaj Finserv also is down in the red at this point in time. Your own sense on Bajaj Finserv as of now?
Thinking, so actually, Bajaj Finserv is also breaking 100 EMA as of now, just as we speak. I think 1620 was the level, it has broken that. And closing up below this level may trigger more selling pressure towards 1560 levels. I think this stock is also looking weak technically, and for near term, one can see it testing 1560 support levels.
Okay. Soni, your two stock ideas, what would you go with in this current market realm?
I think we're seeing a lot of volatility, and it may yet to it may remain in this particular volatile movement until the budget event is done. So I think the first pick would be Grasim. Grasim, as we can see, has it has. Picked up yesterday a good level of 1990 odd levels, and it just has been continuously respecting that level, and it has seen good support above 20,080. Sorry, what, not 1990, it was 2080. I think Grasim is a good buy from current levels for target of 2150, 2170 on the higher side, and you can keep a stop loss of 2080 on the downside. So that's the first pick. The second pick would be Apollo Tires. I think Apollo Tire also is looking quite good from current levels. It has seen a good bounce from lower levels of 520, 525 supports. I think as long as it is holding on a closing basis, Apollo Tires can revisit fresh highs of 550, 560 levels. I think keeping a small stop loss of 525, one can buy Apollo Tires for target of 560.
Okay, when you look at the price in the futures, it's about 1.5% higher. It's also accompanied by a sharp intake in open interest, about 1.2% on Apollo Tires. Let's also, Sakshi, look at spaces which the market seems to be enjoying today. We have Hindustan Petroleum up about 4.8%. This is the top gainer in the energy space within the F&O basket. BPSL is up 3.4%. Both of them are accompanied by a fairly decent uptick in open interest, as also volume, and of course who can forget Petronet LNG, now at 2.4% higher. This is after earnings, and the counter has shown an 8% uptick as far as the open interest is concerned. You've been marking pharma since morning, especially Syngene, 3.8% higher, a dip in open interest, which basically means there is short covering happening on this counter. Sakshi.
Okay. Soni, let me draw your attention to a few more stocks and take your view on some of those stocks as well. BEML, tell me your viewpoint on this one. Double-digit returns today, 10% higher for this one. It's now hovering near 3504 odd levels. Is still steam left on this counter, and would this level also be something that you would be interested in buying into?
I think definitely, Sakshi, the what I can see technically, there's a good positive RSI divergence, there's good volumes, and there's also a very clear breakout on charts above 3300 level. So as long as 3300 is level is getting defended, even in this volatility, the stock is quite good for an upside movement of towards 3600. 3650 levels also. So one may continue to hold the stock, trail your stop losses to 3300 and look for higher targets of 3650.
Okay.
Okay. Sakshi, let's mark a couple of stocks which, despite the weak momentum in the market, are showing record highs, and that essentially means that there is a lot of bullish element in this particular space. We'll start with IRB Infra, now up almost 10%, 65.90. Very, very strong volume here. This is a low ticket, high beta item. We also see 1.3% higher at 88.10. Remember, these are intraday prices, and we've seen early morning highs on many of these stocks. So there is a bit of profit booking accompanied by a sharp surge in volume as well as price. You've marked BEML already. This is also at a record high, up 9%. Stocks such as Oil India 432.75, 4% higher. Calcutta Electricity Board CESC 143, 33% higher. We have Indian Bank, Swan Energy, Shriram Finance. These are the stocks that, despite the profit booking that you see in the broader market, have hit fresh record highs on considerable rise in volume. Coming to you, Sony, anything that you can add on Tata Motors? This is a stock that's up 3.5%, and backed by very strong volume sales at least.
I think Tata Motors yesterday was a day when it had actually given the breakout above 825 odd levels, and after that breakout, you could see that it was supposed to head towards 880 odd levels. Today, it has already almost tested and made a high of 885. So stock is quite good on a positional basis. If you see a dip of about 3 to 4% on a positional basis, it becomes a good level to reinitiate your longs and keeping a stop loss of 800, because that has become the new base for Tata Motors on closing basis. So as long as 800 on closing basis is maintained, stock will definitely, any dip you see can be important too. And again, it may test higher levels of 920 plus levels. So I think that's how one can play in the range. Technically very good, positional also it's looking quite strong. Buy on dips would be a better strategy to follow.
93%.
Tata Motors has been on an upward run since the last 1 year. In fact, in 2023, it was the top gainer on the Nifty as well. It surged about 93%, a very, very smart move, and it continues to gain strength even now as well. You know, a company that also serves to Tata Motors as it's one of the biggest clients is Subros. That stock has reported, the company has reported its earnings, and the stock is up 7% in trade today. Subros Q3 net profit has come in around 25 odd crore rupees, and the stock has shot up because from 8 crores of net profit last year in the same quarter, it's gone up to 27 crores. Revenue is up 12%, EBITDA up 77%, margins at 8% versus 5% on a year-on-year basis. Good results coming in, and that's being rewarded. Subros, do you track the stock, Sony?
I think I just put on the charts now, and of course, I think Subros is looking quite good on charts. If I can see the breakout, it's exactly above 710 odd levels, and it has tested high of 730 plus. It has come down, so I think it's a good level to reinitiate your longs again if somebody's missed the morning rally part of it. So can enter around 710 on any declines up until 700 is a good zone to accumulate. There's strong support around 680, 670. So I think one can maintain the support stop loss of 670. The stock can bounce back again above 740. The moment it's crossed 740, you can see a fresh highs of 760, 765.
So apart from Subros, Sakshi, there are a lot of auto ancillaries that are moving on strong traction. A company called Shriram Pistons. This is a transaction that was done about 3-4 months back on by a very well-known PMS player, which had purchased about 4.5% equity from one of the co-promoters. I think it's up 5% today. Yes, this is the circuit, 1691 for you. Needless to say, this is also a record high, and this is accompanied by a sharp surge in volume as well. Nothing much to change here or track here because it's already up 5%. Sony, coming to the fact that we are ahead of the budget, 2 sessions to go, anything which is budget related in the defense theme and the railway theme that attracts your attention on the long or the short side?
It's definitely Shailendra. I think one I would look at BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electronics. There would be a technical derivative parameter based behind this rationale on going for the long side, is because it has seen more than 95% long rollovers. It has given a very good breakout above 200. Even when the markets were quite volatile, BHEL was continuously holding on to its support of 200. So as long as 200 is holding on a positional basis, it holds quite strong momentum from the upside, and 250, 260 also in the coming days. The buying range for anyone can enter, up until declines of 215. It's a broad range and it's a positional play. I think stock is looking quite positive from current levels, 250, 260 being the target.
I think, Sakshi, it's time to mark ITC. The disappointment as far as earnings are concerned seems to be sort of gathering steam. Days low in front of you, 2.5% lower. And what's really bothering me is that it's now below 200 DMA. Now, this is a pain point. Remember, we started talking about the morning show with Bajaj Finance. That stock had opened below 200 DMA because earnings were not in sync with what the markets expected, and ditto for ITC. Now below 200, and this is the lowest level that you are seeing not only in 2024 but also from December onwards. A bit of a pain point on ITC, and sadly for the stock, this is accompanied by a very sharp surge in volume. You've seen about 3 crore 73 lakh shares being traded on that one. So into 4, that's something like 1300 crores in terms of volume. Sony, coming to you, what is the medium term outlook on ITC? We've seen it correcting sharply from 480 to 338, 438 in a span of a month.
Right, so I think ITC, it has broken 100 EMA as well, and trading below it. I think you mentioned, and it's with very high volumes, short built up positions taking place. The immediate support can be seen around 434 to 430 range. It's a very crucial support. If it's breaking this support, I think we can see it heading lower towards 400 odd levels. Not very strong indications on the charts for any sort of reversal as of yet. I think the reversal trend will get confirmed only if it's holding on to 430 as a support, bounces back and heads towards 450 once more. I think then we can say that the selling pressure or the selling may have seen may have seen to taken a pause and can bounce back again. But the chances of it are quite bleak. The chances of breaking 430 support is quite high as far as the short builder positions are getting added as of now.
Okay. Let me mark a few spaces that are moving up in this kind of a volatile scenario. Nifty PSU Bank Index is up by 1.2%. It's the top moving sectoral index at this point in time, and a lot of second rung PSU banks are now moving up. Indian Bank 3% higher, UCO Bank 3% up, Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, they're all up in trade. Canara Bank up by a percent, Central Bank of India 0.7% higher in trade. Sony, would you be looking at any of the second rung PSU banks that you believe that are looking strong on charts despite having moved up already over the last 6-8 months?
Definitely, Sakshi. The first pick would be Canara Bank. Two reasons:
Okay.
97% of long rollovers from January to February series. And also on the technical charts, 460 was a very crucial level, which broke last series. It gave a good breakout. Even when Bank Nifty was correcting all this while, it always kept up close above, 450 and was very close to 460 odd levels. I think as long as 460 is defended in short term, the stock is looking quite poised to head of higher levels towards 500, 510. So that would be the first pick. The second pick would be SBI. SBI has been an underperformer and has not quite shown that strength in comparison to its peers such as Canara Bank. And so SBI from current levels, if we see, it's in a range from 640 being the higher end of the range, 600 is the lower end of the range. So it can test 640, but above 640, it will see a better move towards 660, 680 odd levels once more. I think SBI can, as an underperformer, should definitely be also kept on as a watch. 600 is a good support. Holding 600 can test 640. Above that, 660, 680 once more.
Okay, we've done the last 45 minutes of traders with us. We are already at 250. Let's just do an index check, Sakshi. That will give us an indication of what's there in the pipeline over the next half an hour or so. Let's look at the Nifty. This is the day's low in front of you, 21,565. I won't worry much unless you see selling accelerate in the last half an hour. We've added 350 yesterday and given back somewhere like half of that. But the overall, if you see the structure of the market, there isn't much to talk about. Advanced decline is fairly 1:1 on the National Stock Exchange, 1130 stocks in the green, 1100 in the red. We tracked 19 indices for you. 10 of them are in the red, 8 of them are in the green. The energy index is the top loser, 1.26% lower, 36,560. And PSU banks, as Sakshi and Sony were just talking, the index as the top performer, 1.3% higher, 6156. Advanced decline on NSE 500, which is the broadest index that we have, is 1:1. So nothing much moving there except for stocks which are high ticket sorry, low ticket and high
Hi,
beta.
beta. Absolutely. And Shell, one more space and one more stock that's moving up today is LIC.
Yeah.
The stock has crossed the issue price, 949 rupees for the very first time today. And it's now touched an 52-week high level of 955 on an intraday basis. Sony, could you look at the chart of LIC and tell us if there is finally good days coming in for all LIC investors and the allottees of the IPO shares of LIC?
Definitely, Sakshi. I think it's looking quite strong from current levels and it has broken above 900 also. I think that's quite a fresh breakout that we can see in LIC. And there's a resistance of about 960, around 960. But most likely in the positional play, it can get, it can get breached again. And you can see high levels of 1020, also coming in for LIC. On the lower side, 920, 910 has multiple support on for very short terms. I think as long as 910 is not breaking, it can attempt to break above 960 and then head towards 1020 odd levels.
One of those stocks which early morning had shown a lot of enthusiasm, 948 if I remember. 955 was the intraday high, and then the stock has sort of slipped, seen a lot of profit booking happening here. Sony, when you look at the broader PSU basket, any new share that you seem to have added in terms of higher trajectories, given that charts change on a regular basis? Any view on HPCL, Gas Authority? Both of these counters have shown a very strong earnings traction as well.
Right, so I think I was about to, go ahead with my pick on Gas Authority, GAIL itself. I think that's looking quite strong, and it has seen a very good long built-up position yesterday with very good delivery volumes. It has broken above 170 also. I think GAIL is a good buy from current levels. One can continue to even look ahead for any declines up to 165, keep a stop loss of 161 and then target of 185 to 190. I think the stock is looking quite strong as of now. Speaking about HPCL, it has already moved quite a lot, although oil and gas sector overall has shown very good rollovers on the longer side. The stock is looking quite good, but then maybe a buy on dip strategy would work better when it comes to HPCL. So anyway, closer to 460, 450 range should be a buy, the signal for, in that zone, and it can retest high levels of 480, 500 odd levels. So I think it's a buy on dip better, but Gale from current levels is also good enough to enter.
Yes, GAIL I think is already at a record high, or at least it was in the vicinity of a record high 2-3 sessions earlier. 172, yes, 172 is what I've seen. In the morning, certainly it was a record high on the counter. Fantastic set of numbers. They came during market hours yesterday, and it's been very well rewarded by the market. What else is moving in the last 40-45 minutes of trade? Let's look at some more prices that are coming in. Sakshi, anything that you're catching in the FNO space? I see PNB appreciating by 2.1% again. Like I mentioned about GAIL, the same criteria also applies to PNB. Almost a 3x rise in quarterly third quarter profit to about 2200 crores, and the counter is now changing a digit. It I think was sub 100 at that point of time, and over the last 2 or 3 days has moved substantially higher. Sony, your view on PNB?
PNB also is looking quite good. It has broken above 100, last series. It tested about 106, then again came back to 100 odd levels. So the crucial support in all this volatile swings that PNB was always holding on to was 94, 93, never went below. Even when Bank Nifty had a very steep correction, PNB was very strongly defending these support of 94. The stock is looking quite good on a positional basis. If you see, it has also seen good rollovers on the longer side. One of the few PSU stocks that has also seen good rollovers. So I think PNB is heading towards 115, 118 on a broader range, positional speaking, and one can trail these stop close to 104 from current levels.
Okay. Well, that's the view coming in on PNB. What we'll do is we'll take a very quick break, and when we return, more stock ideas in the last half an hour of trade remaining for the day with Soni Patnaik. Don't go anywhere.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today. Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda, with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today. 32 years of leadership, innovation, and business brilliance. Subscribe now.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Today on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and with me is Shel Patnagar, and we are in conversation with Soni Patnaik, who's helping us pick out some stocks in this volatile kind of a market that we're witnessing. The Nifty is now drifted even lower, 188 points down, 21,549 currently, and that's the day's low for you as far as the Nifty is concerned. Most of the sectors have now slipped into the red, barring the PSU banks. That remains the top sectoral mover. Realty, the media space, metals and the small cap space. Rest of the sectors have all drifted into the red and coming under selling pressure. A large part of action in the Nifty broader markets, in the Nifty 500 space, where a lot of stocks are actually buzzing and are in an up move. IRB Infra, for example, 13.3% higher. BEML, 10% up in trade. India Bulls Housing Finance, 8% higher. Apar Industries, 5.5% up. HPCL, 5% higher. Data Patterns, that's the one that's moving in, 4.5% up. Four Source Solutions, and that's also 4.5%. So these are the kind of stocks that are actually attracting all the move in today's trade. Nifty concentration is largely towards the oil and gas stocks, some autos, and some metal stocks at this point in time. Shell, what do you think is going to be the flavor of the markets now in the budget and beyond? And that's going to be the focus that we will continue to focus tomorrow and day after.
So Sakshi, if I had known that answer in complete honesty, I wouldn't be sitting here. But let's look at how the markets are rewarding both price and volume. And there are some stocks that I'd like to draw your attention to. UTI AMC, this is the top traded volume buzzer today, about 905 rupees in front of you. Strong move in terms of percentage as well. But what's really catching the eye is this 34 lakh volume that you are seeing in terms of the number of shares traded. This is, hold your breath, 37 times more than the 5-day average on UTI AMC. Similarly, you have stocks like Jamna Auto. This is priced at a low ticket 116 rupees. As you had marked Subros, I had marked Shriram Pistons. This is Jamna Auto, which is surging on a volume of roughly 5.9 times the 5-day average. And hold your breath, about 97 lakh shares have been traded on Jamna Auto. So these are the stocks which are getting trader attention, investor attention, and of course rising both in terms of price and volume, Sakshi.
Absolutely. Sony, what else is catching your eye at this point in time? Is there something that you believe that, some, momentum play should be tracked at this point?
Definitely. I think from the metal space, Jindal Steel should definitely be kept in watch. There was a good breakout from morning above 738, 740 levels. It tested 760, of course, with the market pressure, selling pressure. The stock is also coming down lower. However, it is still holding very strong support, and crucial support is 725. So any dip towards the support can be a good level to reinitiate the longs again and look for targets of 760. So 760 is a good breakout level once more. Any move above 760, you can see the stock soaring higher towards 800 as well. I think buy on dips 725 stop loss, and you can see it for 800 also.
Okay. Well, on that note, thanks a lot, Sony, for being with us, sparing your time and sharing such wonderful stock ideas. Always a pleasure to have you with us. And now we will be also joining will be a very special guest. Sunny Agarwal will be joining us very, very shortly, DVP, Head of Fundamental Desk from SBI Securities, and we will continue the market conversation with them. At this point in time, you're looking at 220 points down now on the Nifty. It's now drifted even lower, 21,517 currently on the Nifty. So we are nearing that 21,500 mark as of now, a percent down for the Nifty. The Nifty bank is still 0.2% lower in trade, but the pressure is getting exerted now from the IT space, that's down by 0.4%, or you also have the consumer durables now that's drifted lower. 1.7% lower in trade. FMCG, healthcare, IT, oil and gas. These are the sectors that are now, coming under pressure, selling pressure in the market share.
Right. Before Sunny joins us, there is this document that's running across WhatsApp groups, which to my mind doesn't look to be correct, which is that US President Joe Biden seems to be considering large-scale strikes against Iran and Iranian targets and Syrian targets after 3 US servicemen lost their lives. You remember, Sakshi, in the morning, we had this conversation about the positives and negatives.
Yes.
And you wanted to listen
Only
to
hear the positives, but yes,
Yes.
I think it's time now to understand what the negatives are.
Okay. So, because you didn't ask me the question and I didn't press it forward, but this particular blowout, which has happened in the Middle East, the markets don't seem to be reacting to it at the moment, but this has grave repercussions post maybe the interim budget froth that we are seeing in the market. We still don't know how the US will react, but react it will, because that's how the US does over a period of time. And those are the fears that were there early morning, but we did not discuss them, and they seem to be overwhelming the Nifty, at least for the moment.
Well, absolutely. All right, Sunny is with us now. Welcoming Sunny at this point in time. Sunny Agarwal joins us from SBI Securities. He's DVP, Head of Fundamental Desk. Sunny, good afternoon to you. Thanks a lot for taking the time out. How do you see the selling pressure that's building on into the markets right ahead of the big, upcoming event, interim budget?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for having me on the show. So, I think the selling pressure is, we all know there is a rumor in the market, and yesterday there was a news that US may take some military action as far as Middle East area region is concerned. And I think market has reacted to that development. And in addition to that, the key events which are lined up are basically US Fed meeting, the outcome of which will be seen on 31st evening, and the impact as far as Indian domestic markets are concerned will be on 1st of Feb. So ahead of Union budget, I think this reaction is more to do with the signals which are emanating from the US that there is likely to be some escalation in geopolitical tension, and probably that is the reason we are seeing some selling as far as the equity markets are concerned.
Okay. One interesting thing, Sakshi, would be to see what US futures are doing at this point of time. छींक कोई और रहा है और सर्दी हमें लग रही है. Let's just douse that bogey as well. Just give me a while. I'll check what US futures are doing. But a very warm welcome to you, Sunny. by the time we get these US futures on the screen. Let's talk about your expectations from the interim document that will be with us in 2 sessions from now. Anything that you are hopeful about? Maybe capex on railways and defense?
What I feel is that obviously the budget will be a growth focused budget, and ultimately infrastructure is where the government is going to focus on. But having said that, from a equity market perspective, what I feel is that all the stocks have already discounted the positive news, whether it is defense, whether it is railways, infrastructure. So we have seen a massive rally beginning this month, Jan month, and no surprises left as far as budget is concerned in terms of the sector to focus on. But still, if I look from a valuation perspective, I think there are certain pockets in infrastructure. So few companies like NCC, Waytech, Wabag, which is focusing more on water segment, Welspun Enterprises, again focusing on road plus water. So these are certain pockets where there still value is left, and valuations are not very hyped or very expensive. But having said that, I think all the budget stories have already been discounted. I mean, you name the sector, whether it is fertilizer, railway, defense, everything
Yeah.
has run up a lot of time.
Yes, as Sakshi and I have been discussing, it's a crisis of plenty that's afflicting Indian stock markets over the last 2.5 months. Anything that you touch in the PSU basket is up 8% on a regular basis. So, Sakshi, coming back to the US markets,
Yeah.
there is absolutely zero reaction on Dow futures.
So it's
But-
us.
But markets are so markets, especially at near events and post record highs, are extremely volatile, and they react to the smallest news event, even if it is fake. So if the US market is not reacting about an impending probable US strike, Indian markets are correcting. Perhaps that's an opportunity. Let's get Sunny back into the conversation. Sunny, two stocks, Bajaj Finance post earnings and ITC post earnings. Both were not liked by the market, and surprise, surprise, both counters are below 200 DMA in terms of their long term charts. Anything that catches your fancy in both these earnings? What would you advise fresh investors to do? Are these entry points for the stock?
We will discuss one by one. So first, ITC, we have seen a kind of flattish growth as far as the main cash cow is concerned, which is the tobacco business. But that was on the high base effect of last year. And at the same time, we have seen a record earning as far as hotel segment is concerned, which is ultimately going to be demerged. At the same time, FMCG others business have done pretty well in a very challenging environment. So we have seen margin expansion by 100 basis point in FMCG others business. So what I feel is that ITC again trading at a 25 time 1 year forward price to earning multiple. Although the growth has tapered down to maybe a low double digit, what I feel is that if somebody is a medium to long term investor, then buy on dip is a strategy which one should adopt as far as ITC is concerned. Moving on to Bajaj Finance. So Bajaj Finance, what we have seen is that there is slight pressure as far as asset quality is concerned in B2C business. And that is the reason we are seeing a sell-off today despite of reporting a decent set of number. The moment the street is getting hint that there is some asset quality pressure, the premium valuation which Bajaj is commanding, maybe that is under doubt as of now. But again, it's a giant organization, and first time in their con call, they have went on record to say that they are going to use AI to generate leads and dole out various products to its customer. So again, as of now, although there is an increase in competitive intensity, what I feel is that again Bajaj Finance is a kind of buy on deep bet for a long-term investor. But if I have to pick one of them, as of now, I feel I will like to go ahead with an ITC among the Bajaj Finance and ITC.
Okay. Sunny, we are just like a day away from the interim budget. Any budget friendly stocks that you're keeping an eye out on? Would you like to recommend any for all our viewers?
Sakshi, as discussed already, most of the sectors have seen a decent rally during the last 20, 30 days. But having said that, I feel there is still some comfort in infrastructure sector.
Okay.
So we all know that budget is going to be the growth-oriented infrastructure-focused budget. So the companies which are part of roads as well as the ports, or for that matter, water treatment solution. So companies like NCC, PNC, or for that matter, KNR Construction, PSP Project, Vartek Mabag, Welspun Enterprises. So this pocket looks good where the earning visibility is pretty robust, and at the same time, there is an expectation that with the increase in likely increase in budget towards spending towards the infrastructure, again this sector will see a robust order inflow for post-election, maybe after May.
Okay. Right. Let's look at the markets again. A percent and more down now, 220 points lower, 21,509 currently on the Nifty. And again, it's only the PSU Banks Realty and slight gains in the metal space that are holding up the markets and the small caps. But the rest of the markets is now tweaking towards the sell-off side as of now. Let's look at a few beginners as far as the F&O space is concerned. So Z Entertainment is up by 5.2% in trade. It's topping the F&O charts. And India Cements is moving up 4.4% higher in trade. We already mentioned HPCL and Syngene. So Mahanagar Gas is now adding up along with the entire gas names that we've been discussing. 4% up in trade for this one. Zydus Life is moving up almost 3.8% higher in trade. Astral Limited is moving up. Jindal Steel, which was mentioned by Sony a little while earlier, is moving up in trade. You have Indigo that's now moving up 3.5% higher, and LIC Housing Finance as well. After a long haul, we are looking at Indigo showing some kind of ticks. Sunny, would you like to share with us your view here?
Yeah, Indigo, I think October, November, December was a pretty robust season for the entire holiday as a sector, holiday as a theme. And we have seen decent number coming from all the hotel companies. I am sure Indigo again, as of now, we all know that risk all the risk with the decrease in competitive intensity, Indigo is a clear beneficiary out of that. So I am bullish, but again, in case there is an increase in geopolitical tension between US, Middle East, and there is an a spurt in a crude oil price, then probably I would like to stay away and maybe in a wait and watch mode as far as Indigo is concerned. Let the situation be clear whether the crude oil is staying close to $80 to the barrel, or it is going to shoot up to 90 to $100 to the barrel. So that's the only caveat I would like to be cautious as far as Indigo is concerned.
Yes, that's a fair point, Sakshi. That decreasing competition in the aviation space has given, how should I say, more than necessary benefit to Indigo for a country, for a stock that controls something like 60% of India's booming aviation market. This is majority control that's reflecting very well. Plus the fact that the two largest orders globally for aircraft are from Indigo and Indian Airlines, and that is also the growth prospects that are doing fairly well. One interesting statistic is, Sakshi, that Indigo throws up 15,000 crores worth of cash each year, and the food that we buy on the airline,
Yeah.
that food business is bigger than a Domino's pizza business.
Wow.
So you can see the scale and the size of the operations here, and markets duly rewarding it despite all the publicity problems that the
Oh,
company
yes.
is facing.
Absolutely. Sunny, what else is looking interesting to you in the current market setup? Where do you see value that one can still tap onto?
Sakshi, I feel one sector which we like is basically auto and auto ancillary, and the reason being that we have seen a very decent volume growth as far as two-wheeler and three-wheeler segment is concerned. Passenger vehicle continue to do well. Commercial vehicle, although growing on a low single digit on a higher base, and tractor is one of the segment which is not doing well. So what I feel is that with the many auto companies setting up base in India, auto ancillary is also one of the sector which will be one of the key beneficiary in medium to long term. And in the upcoming budget, in case government want to support domestic manufacturing, Atmanirbhar Bharat, then auto is the sector which will receive a good support, whether it is in the form of PLI scheme or maybe to boost up some demand. We may see some tweaking of taxes as far as auto sector is concerned, so that there is a boost in demand for rural belt also. So I think auto ends is a sector which looks good from a medium to long term perspective. Banking, again, banking, we all know that the NIM are under pressure. And as of now, stocks are moving sideways, underperforming the broader market. So banking, if somebody has got a view of 6 to 12 months, then it's a good opportunity to accumulate uh, quality banks like ICICI, Axis, IndusInd, which are reporting very good set of number. In fact, HDFC Bank, because of the valuation, so one can adopt a SIP route in the banking stocks from a short to medium term perspective, and then reap the benefit over the period of next 6 to 12 months.
Yes.
Cement is one more sector which we like. So cement, we have seen a kind of muted top line growth, but however the expansion in margin is clearly visible across all the players, whether it is a mid size or large size player. Everyone is reaping the benefit of low raw material cost and power and fuel cost. So I think cement as a sector, which is again a proxy play on infrastructure. So cement as a sector is to be in from a medium to long term perspective. Then metals and mining, especially mining. So mining, I think the bidding for the lithium and various critical minerals is likely to be scheduled in the next 2 to 3 months. And we may see many players winning those blocks to mine lithium and critical minerals. So company like GMDC, or for that matter, MOIL, NALCO, Hindustan Copper. So these are the few domestic mining companies which we like from a short to medium term.
Right. We are now at 3:18 p.m. Sakshi. Just about 10-12 minutes left for the day's markets to close. 21,500 is still with the bulls as far as the Nifty is concerned, but it's been a day of extreme volatility, not only for the index, which is now down about 216 points, a percent lower, but stocks such as BEML, 9% higher, almost 3480, have hit fresh highs. You are seeing a very strong traction continuing on PSU stocks. Within the PSU bracket, it's the energy space that's come up dramatically well. BPCL, let's look at this particular counter. The company's announced a rights offer that will be coming fairly shortly. I'm talking about BPCL, Bharat Petroleum, yes, 2% higher. Its smaller rival and peer, Hindustan Petroleum, is up 4% today, and a very smart move is also seen on the largest OMC, Indian Oil Corporation, somewhere like 149, 148 rupees. In the morning, we had discussed the absolutely tragic valuations of Indian Oil in terms of how the 10-year PE median and the price to book median is. Be that as it may, but that's how markets are. And over a period of time, you need newer and newer sectors, better and better stocks to take the market higher. Probably OMCs are the ones that will lead the next rally. Strong traction coming in on Gas Authority after stunning set of numbers, as also on Petronet LNG. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Sunny, would you have any pick from the oil and gas space? I mean, would you go with the OMCs? Would you actually go ahead with the city gas distributors like GAIL or maybe a Mahanagar Gas or an IGL? How would you really look at this entire space?
Yeah, so I think within oil and gas space, Mahanagar Gas seems to be a decent bet. So the event is behind us, and the company has reported very solid set of number. So volume growth has been in a low single digit. However, the benefit of low gas prices can be seen flowing to the bottom line as far as Mahanagar Gas is concerned. Trading at a very reasonable valuation, 14 to 15 time price to earning multiple. I think Mahanagar Gas has got a decent upside of maybe I feel the fair value of the business is around 1800 to 2000 rupees. So Mahanagar Gas can definitely be on radar. And in terms of upstream companies, I would like to go ahead with ONGC. The reason being that ONGC owns majority stakes in HPCL. and so you get a benefit of in case there is a spurt in crude oil prices, definitely ONGC upstream business benefits. And being again in case what we are hearing as that there is a spurt in GRM, so the refinery business of HPCL benefits out of that. To that extent, you get combined play of upstream as well as downstream company in ONGC. So ONGC is the one which a company which we like in on the upstream side, oil side.
Okay. Sakshi, let's just look at the broader Nifty setup. We are now just 9 minutes towards close. It's a low volume day. When you look at how the Nifty's moved about a percent lower, it's given somewhere like 63% of its gains that were made in the previous section. And we are now on Tuesday. Tomorrow would be the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty, and the day after tomorrow, not only will it be the interim budget, but also the weekly expiry of the Nifty. Let's start with HDFC Bank. The index, the stock is down about 0.5%, and the volume isn't substantial. About 2,900 crores worth of shares have been traded on HDFC Bank. Similarly, if you look at Bajaj Finance, although the cut has been deeper in terms of a percentage fall, but it's not accompanied by a very sharp, painful volume picture. Somewhere like 2,500 crores worth of shares have been traded. The only problem is that the stock is below its 200-day DMA, and that's painful because it's been the leading light for the Fin Nifty, the financial services index, which has its weekly expiry today. Therefore, it's a pain point. But overall, you see fairly decent price changes happening for the positive in the broader market, especially the PSU basket, and odd stocks like Tata Invest. This is up 20%. Sakshi and I were wondering whether to show this chart to you, because beyond 20%, what can you do? And this is a holding company. But given the paucity of good news coming in the market, we thought we'll show you this one, 5,794. Not only is it a record high, it's also the maximum point that this stock can rise on a daily basis. Let's get Sunny's view on this. Sunny, any light that you can shed on Tata Invest?
Again, as you rightly pointed out, it is a basically holding company of Tata Group. And I think the majority of the value Tata investment derive is from Tata Motors. And so we have seen recently a 52-week high as far as Tata Motors is also concerned ahead of the quarterly number. And we all know that quarterly numbers for Tata Motors are likely to be pretty robust based on the provisional update given by the company. So all cylinder firing simultaneously for Tata Motors, whether it is JLR, whether it is domestic passenger vehicle, domestic electric vehicle portfolio, and as well as commercial vehicle. So I think it is a kind of catch up which is happening for a rally in the Tata Motors. And one point we have to keep in mind that as of now, the street is giving valuation to Tata Motors of and comparing Tata Motors to the global OEM players. And global OEM player command a lower valuation compared to the domestic OEM. And going forward, as the contribution from the domestic business increases, or there is some development on demerger of domestic business, then in that case, there may be a valuation re-rating for Tata Motors also. I think that is the story which is now playing out in Tata Investment.
Okay.
I distinctly remember, I was looking at some fund portfolio, and it was a rare event that one of the very well-known equity schemes had Tata Invest as its top holder.
Okay.
I'm missing the name. I'm trying to find that particular fund out. But as Sunny's mentioned, it's a blowout that's happening because of possibly Tata Motors earnings. And what's really interesting, Sakshi, is that Tata Power is one of the promoters of Tata Invest. So let's see whether that rub off happens on Tata Power in the coming few days or not. But that are invested in this particular stock, Tata Invest, it's Nippon India Mutual Fund, Motilal Oswal Mutual Fund, SBI Mutual Fund, ICICI Pru, HDFC Mutual Fund, and Shriram. I'll narrow down the scheme. I distinctly remember it was one of the top holdings in one of the schemes that held Tata Invest. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Just about 4 minutes to go for the markets to shut shop. Before we come back to the secondary markets, let me just talk to Sunny about this new IPO that's opened today. BLS e-services IPO. It got fully subscribed within 1 hour of bidding today. The retail portion got subscribed 10 times in trade as well. So it's investors are full with liquidity. They are just taking any opportunity to grab onto any slight list of the hints that they get that they are going to get some more profits in a short while. Your own sense on BLSE services, if you track this company, and what have you advised, if at all you've come out with a note on this IPO?
Yeah, definitely there is a frenzy as far as the IPO market is concerned, and so business is decent, so wherein they provide basically G2C services to normal Indian citizen. And but what I feel is that the valuations are pretty expensive. So I think at upper price band, the company is asking for 60 times price to earning multiple. And so looking at an expensive valuation, we have recommended not to subscribe to the IPO. Better let's wait for the company to list, and post listing, then we may get to investor may get chance to enter at a lower.
Okay.
327 Sakshi, and let's see how the markets are now shaping up towards close. The Nifty right there in front of you, down about 200 points as far as today's close is concerned compared with yesterday. 21,527. Let's hope that 21,500 remains with the bulls. Remember, now we are just 2 sessions away from the interim budget document, which will be unveiled on Thursday at 11 a.m. Where you see strong track, that's how the markets are for the moment, Sakshi. Let me just get you a list of pullers and draggers. Maybe by that time you can mark out the all-time highs on the counters.
Okay, right now we're just about 2 minutes to go for the markets to shut shop. Day that spanned out in trade, which is pretty volatile. And right now the markets, although off the lowest point, it's still about 200 points lower for the Nifty, 21,530 right now on the Nifty index. The stocks that are pulling the index down, clearly Bajaj Finance, 5% down in trade. We also have Bajaj Finserv, that's down about 3% in trade. Again, a big contributor to the Nifty's fall today is Reliance Industries. That's seeing some profits being taken off after a substantial move in yesterday's trading action. So it's 2.7% down in trade after the 7% move that we had seen yesterday. You also have Titan, that's now down by 3.2%. That's pulling down the consumer durables index as well. Ultratech Cement, that's the one that's moving down 3.2%. ITC, about 2.5% lower in trade. You have L&T, that's 1.8% down. Sun Pharma, that's about 2% down in trade. These are the heavyweight counters that are actually dragging down the index. Of course, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank are the other banking majors that are pulling down the index at this point in time as well. What's moving up? It's Tata Motors, top of the gains as far as the Nifty is concerned, 2.8% higher. BPCL, Eicher Motors, Adani Enterprises, Grasim, Tech Mahindra, HUL as the movers on the Nifty index. With that, we'll thank you, Sunny, for being with us on this special edition and helping us navigate through these volatile times. And we will see you very soon now after the interim budget, and then we will navigate after the budget what exactly is to be bought in the portfolios as well. And with that, we will wrap up this special edition. Many thanks, Shell, for joining in as well. Closing trades are now on your screens. The Nifty is down 208 points. It's ending the day at 21,528. The Nifty Bank down by 0.2%, 45,313. That's the Nifty Bank for you. Sectors, PSU Banks, top of the charts, 0.9% higher. Metals, 0.3% up in trade. Media and the realty space up into the green, but it's clearly the Nifty Bank, the financial services, FMCG, consumer durable sectors that are down in the red, that have pulled down the index. We'll navigate the next trading session for you tomorrow morning, but do stay tuned as a lot of action follows even after the markets. We will be getting you some exciting conversations around the budget, so don't miss all of that action and stay tuned with us on Business Today Television.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today. Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today, 32 years of leadership, innovation and business brilliance. Subscribe now.